Alright, so I decided to watch this thing on the network, or WWE network, called Dream to WrestleMania, that profiled Daniel Bryan and his rise to fame in his WrestleMania match. And it was a really good little documentary, or whatever you want to call it. A little nice show. It was about an hour long. I highly recommend you tune in and watch it. It's only an hour. And it was very good. I was entertained during it. And I was watching NXT. I watched NXT before this, and I was tired. I was falling asleep. I had to get up and walk around, pause the fucking main event match, and walk around so I don't fall asleep. And then I decided to watch this, and I'm awake. I'm not falling asleep, not even close to falling asleep. So that just tells you that this is pretty entertaining. It was good. And the thing I liked about it is it wasn't storyline. It was, they were talking, about Ring of Honor. They had Ring of Honor tapes on there. And it was really good. They had Seth Rollins on there, a lot, which I enjoyed. Talking about Daniel Bryan and his indies a little bit, and just how great Daniel Bryan is. I think they had Cesaro on there a little bit. They had Cena on there a little bit. And 99% of it was, it wasn't kayfabe. It wasn't, storyline. It was like real. They acted like, they actually acknowledged wrestling's fake and shit, and they acknowledged that, Bryan actually is a good technical wrestler. And it was good. They talked about his indies, talked about when he first started out with Shawn Michaels, talked about him getting fired by WWE and coming back, and the Yes movement, or not the Yes movement, but like when he first started doing the Yes, his World Heavyweight Championship run. They talked about how upset he was when he found out he was on the uh, the dark match at Mania 27 with Sheamus. How upset he was when he lost at 18 seconds. So they acknowledged that this wasn't a fucking just for storyline purposes. This was actually a real, and it was good. I enjoyed it. They had some, Seth Rollins. I think that was a perfect person to put in there, since he was in Ring of Honor also with Daniel Bryan, and they know each other pretty good. So this was it was a good show, and yeah, just really good profiling Daniel Bryan. They even talked about him growing up as a kid, how he wanted to be a superstar. How he lived in Aberdeen, Washington, and he went to the wrestling school with Shawn Michaels the day after he graduated from high school. So I enjoyed it. It was a cool little show there. They also talked about how he doesn't like to be recognized as a superstar. And, that's pretty cool. How he's not in here for the fame or whatever. Not for the, to just to be this big guy. He even hates when people come up to him, he said, and, ask for his autograph at like a supermarket or whatever. He would rather just be recognized as like a normal person. I remember even him talking about in interviews where he wanted to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, grow a beard, come back to America so he wouldn't, so nobody would recognize him. So he's very, anti, he doesn't want to be popular. But it was cool. They had like different camera angles. They had when he was doing his entrance, which was pretty cool. I enjoy that type of shit. And they had him backstage too before his match, and it was just an all around very entertaining little documentary here on Daniel Bryan. Um, and then it was cool how they had other people in there too, talking about how great Daniel Bryan is, really putting Daniel Bryan over. I mean, WWE obviously, sees Daniel Bryan as a star now, or, they see him as marketable, whatever. And they don't try to bury him. It's pretty obvious. I mean, if they were trying to bury him, they obviously wouldn't put out this fucking documentary on him, which really, I mean, I'm seeing like a really good person, a really good star, a really good wrestler. And it was just a really, I enjoyed it. It was a perfect way to celebrate Daniel Bryan's rise to fame, popularity, and all they also put on there, which I enjoyed, the dark match after WrestleMania 28 on Raw, where all the fans were chanting yes in the dark match or whatever, and that was cool. Just a lot of good things in here, a lot of things. I wasn't expecting this to be that good. I was expecting it to be pretty good, but I wasn't expecting this to be a total non-storyline show. I very much enjoyed it. I recommend you tune in and watch it, and and let me know what you think of it in the comments if you decide to watch it, because I thought it was really good. One of the people are always telling me, oh, you're always negative about WWE. That's not true. Even in my Raw review, I was saying how great WWE is going to be in the future. Or not as much in my Raw review, but I made a follow-up video to that, and I was saying, Raw's got a good future ahead of it. Like the show wasn't that great or anything. You had like Paige coming in, just winning just like that, which I thought was pretty stupid. RVD returning to face Sandown in a jobber match. But yeah, it's cool to see RVD back and Paige debut. And Cesaro becoming a Heyman guy. Yeah, that was a good moment. That was a really cool moment there. But all that shit's gonna benefit us in the future. Cesaro becoming a Paul Heyman guy. That was a great moment, I thought. But a lot of this stuff's gonna benefit us in the future. The shit that happened on Raw. I mean, some of it was good and all, but like RVD returning to face Sandow, I would have expected more from RVD's return than just a jobber match against Sandow. So I'm really hoping, that WWE is going to be really, picking up in the future. I think it is. So I'm not negative about the company. I'm just truthful. And sometimes the truth is negativity. So there you go, and just to wrap this video up, go watch the fucking show. It's a lot better than watching it Raw. I'm more entertained by this show than I am by Raw most of the time. And it was cool. They even showed him backstage a little bit, and it was cool. With the last, one of the last moments they had, they showed how depressed Sheamus was after, he was told that his match with Bryan at WrestleMania 27 was going to the dark match. He said that was like one of the, I think he even said that was my worst moment in my career. And then they had him backstage with Bryan, giving him a hug and whatever. So that was a cool way to finish off the fucking show right there. And yeah, go watch it. Let me know what you think of it, because I thought it was pretty good. So there you go, people.